I saw this, thought it could be an interesting topic because we've kind of talked about this before. I don't know if you saw this or not. Valve apparently put out a warning.
Yeah.
To all the like X-rated game developers on Steam. So if you're not familiar and you're listening, on Steam there's actually like a lot of hentai games on there.
Well, there are and there aren't. Like, I think X-rated is a strong word. They're on there, but they're very soft-core.
Okay, so maybe not X-rated, but NC-17 rated at least. Like nudity and stuff.
Boobs.
Yeah.
Anime tits.
So the weird thing about this is these games have been up there for years and years and years. They've always sold pretty well. So it's just strange because it's clear that these games didn't just come to Valve's attention this month. They've had to have known about them for years. I mean,
well, one of them they targeted was Honey Pop, and that's like a really popular game.
It's a really popular franchise. It's like many games and it's a developer that make dozens of these games. Mm-hmm. And some of them are visual novel, dating sims type things, and some of them are like their most popular game is like a puzzle game or something like that.
And there's also the Honeycam one where it's basically a sim cam girl website game.
Okay. So what do you got to like tip the right amount?
Well, no, you run the site. You run all the girls and stuff. I kind of thought it was fun.
That sounds kind of interesting.
It's not super interesting gameplay, but I mean, I feel like it's worth like one sit through, and the porn in it is extremely minimal.
Really?
There's nothing. And
you're losing me quick on the interest.
I thought the idea was cool, but did you also see that they actually really like sent out follow-ups to these companies and were like, oh, we made a mistake? So I think.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they actually.
All right, so we got breaking news.
Breaking news.
They've been
sending a lot of them, especially Honey Pop. Actually, got a message from them directly.
Yeah, because they were probably like, these guys bring in too much money. Let's not threaten to take all their stuff down.
It's scary for these developers though, because like they basically like shut off their money supply. Like they a lot of these games like have already been like censored to be on Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a lot of the developers they contact the visual novels, they're already like censoring their games big time to even have it on the platform because Steam is so huge. And then they actually, here we go, Honey Pop developer. Important notice: I've received an email from Valve stating that Honey Pop violates the. Oh, hold on. There's an update here. There was an update.
I'd like to pop that, honey.
Well, anyways, there is an update that apparently they did actually apologize and said that part of it was mistakes. So now, who the hell knows what's going on with Steam in this? I mean, I guess when we're talking about this, how do you feel about adult content on Steam, and what does Valve have to gain or lose from having adult risque content on their platform?
So obviously, what they have to gain is all the people who want to buy those games and having them on the platform spending money. What they have to lose is, some dumbass kid pulls up the game or whatever and the parent sees like, what the hell are you looking at on Steam? And then they say you can't use Steam anymore. Yeah. Period. The whole platform. And then you're missing out on that money. So it's like, but I have a feeling the types of people that are buying these hentai games are probably spending more money than some random 8-year-old brat on Steam. So it's really like a give and take.
But I guess, at that point, they have to decide what kind of business they want to run.
Sure.
There are specific platforms just for adult games.
Yeah. I mean, but these games have been on there for years. I think that basically maybe like make the restrictions tougher. Maybe you have to send in a copy of your driver's license and you get a age verified account or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I personally, we've talked about this before, I don't see much difference between having a game like that and having a game like Friday the 13th on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I think that if you're going to have a game where people get their, spines ripped out and shit, what is it that big of a difference of having a game where like an anime girl has her boobs out?
Yeah.
Like really, where do you want to draw the line, and where do you want to, is this really the hill that you want to die on? So that's the real question, I think. And I'm a big believer in not censoring really anything, but even more so a big believer in the types of people who say, well, why is a movie where you can murder 100 people PG-13, but boob is out for 1 second and it's instantly rated R? I think that's more of a topic of our culture in general, but I think that's where I lie, where it's just like, why is it okay for a kid to see mindless violence and people getting killed, their fucking lives ended, and but they can't see any kind of nudity or sexual content? To me, that's really where the conversation should start and end, I think. So
it's weird. Yeah, I think maybe they should take this moment to maybe open the conversation further up. Maybe if they want to, maybe if Steam wants to have a separate, completely different platform that you have to, like, it's like a fully unlocked Steam, and that's where you can get all the stuff, and maybe they can have like a more rigorous process of approving these games to make sure they're not too far, like making sure you're not getting like, because I think the thing is, I don't think they want to become a platform where they're literally just getting straight up like raunchy porn, like hentai games, where the sole purpose, like, because these honeypot games, they have a purpose, like it's a puzzle game, and then it has like fan service and stuff in the background. Right. You have a visual novel game where you might get a scene where the girl is naked or something. Mm-hmm. I can see where Bob's coming from, where they just don't want to have a platform where they have like blatant like hentai and stuff on there, where it's just like blatant like hour-long like hentai scenes and stuff in there. Because there is a place for that, and I don't think they want to be that place.
Okay.
So I think that's where they need to go, is maybe just have a brand, maybe just...
But those games already aren't on the service.
Which games?
The like blatantly X-rated hentai games.
Well, I know they're not. I know they're not. I'm just saying that they need to make up their minds as to what... as to how much censorship really needs to occur.
Yeah.
On the platform and everything. I'm saying they need to be more fair to these companies that are not releasing blatant sex games.
Yeah.
And they're just having games that have sexual content in them, and I don't think it needs to be shamed as hard as it is.
Yeah, I always go back to, I think like Friday the 13th was the perfect contrast to use or example, because you have a game, once again, this is more of a culture thing, and I think that the conversation needs to be opened up almost at like a governmental level, where we need to really take a look at this stuff and be like, not censor it at all, not, I'm not saying Friday the 13th needs to be taken off, but it's like you said, there's hentai games where there's just blatant, sex, but on the other side of the coin, it's like, there's no purpose for Friday the 13th. It's like death scenes and stuff. Like, it's just clear fan service of like gore for gore's sake and murder for murder's sake. And the same could be said for like shows like The Walking Dead that's on cable TV, where it's just like there's a very thin story there at this point. It's garbage. There's a very thin story, and it's just a lot of it is like blatant murder and gore, zombie gore and stuff like that. And it's at a point, it's like, why is it okay for there to be games like that, but it's not okay on the sexual aspect of it? That to me is the conversation that needs to be had. And it's a shame that these situations keep coming up, and that it's never, maybe it's just there's too much bureaucracy, people are too stupid, I don't know, but it never gets to that point. It never gets to that higher level of conversation where, like, they had the you had the Night Trap stuff, you had in the 90s, and then you have recently the violence stuff, and it's just like, at a point, when are you going to start having the conversation of, maybe sexually suggestive content isn't as bad as we've made it out to be, and maybe we should restructure the way our culture looks at it. And maybe a movie with a woman topless shouldn't instantly be rated R because you have Taken, where Liam Neeson murders 50 guys, and that's PG-13. So it's not even a matter of the art and the rating so much as the culture and what we deem as acceptable and unacceptable. And I think that in a world where you can have a Friday the 13th game where people are getting their hearts ripped out in like a cutscene over and over again versus a puzzle game where a girl takes her top off and that's deemed like too much, that to me illustrates a bigger issue than the actual censorship itself. It's like a, what do we value as a society? Someone's life or the the innocence, the sexual innocence of a child who's gonna see the stuff eventually anyway.
Well, especially, it's such a weird conversation we're still having because we're in 2018 where every kid has like a phone and like you and I were like on the computer and stuff looking up porn on dial-up connection,
right?
And like imagine now just like kids, the access that they have now to all that.
Yeah, if you want to see it, you'll find it today. And it's just a strange thing to take issue with after those games have been on there for years. So I thought it was odd, and we always have these conversations, and we've always been big advocates of like minimal censorship. Yeah. So,
well, I'm all for minimal censorship, and I'm also all for proper measurements to make sure that a kid can't easily access.
Sure. Like I said, maybe the solution is to send a scan of your driver's license or something, and you have an age-verified account.
I mean, there were sites like that when I was using dial-up back then. I remember I would get to a porn site, and they'd be like, "You need to verify your age." I'm like, "Guess I'm going to a different porn site."
Right.
Like,
they just need to decide what they want to be, because Steam started with the whole point of Steam is to be your one-stop shop, and that's why on one page you can get some cutesy platformer for 3-year-olds, or I think like Spy Fox and like Putt Putt and stuff are on there too. And then on the next page you can get Friday the 13th or Doom, and then on the next page you can get these Honey Pop games. It's supposed to be the point of it was to streamline PC gaming and make it so you should never have to go anywhere else for your games. And I think that getting rid of it is not the answer. I think you need to find some way around that. And if you have a whole 18 and up, or a whole 18 and up section on the app or the program where you have higher restrictions or whatever on how to get in there, then that's probably the proper way to do it. I have a message board that we use occasionally, and there's like women only boards on there that you can only access if you're a female user, and the way they do that is by you have to verify in some way that you're a female user. So it's not rocket science, and this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They can figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that back in the day, like Walmart sold like porn mags behind the counter. So, yep. All right. What else you got for us? Anything?
That's it for me.
Okay. Okay. I guess it'll just be a short episode then. You got to get off to work anyway. All right. So, I just wanted to say real quick, we're going to start doing like a Q&A if you're listening. If you got any questions or topics you want us to talk about, send us a tweet. That would be the best way to do it. We're on Facebook, our Facebook page. So our Twitter is at @the_Game Boyz with a Z. And if you have any questions, you have any topics you want us to talk about, please send them out and we'll answer them on the podcast. You can subscribe to us on Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes. I always post the links on the Twitter. So if you're not following us, make sure you follow us on there. And please subscribe to the podcast so you'll be up to date on all our really important news that I know you guys clamor for every week. So on that note, Bowman, you have anything to say to the people here?
Adios, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye then.